Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So I know it's Warhammer Fest and today is focusing on the Age of Sigmar, but it seems GW are not content with that and have decided to throw us a little heresy bone as well. And so today, like they've been doing every Thursday recently, we got to see a brand new heresy model. And as you can see, this time it is a gorgeous new member of the Dark Angel's Inner Circle and veteran of the fearsome Dreadwing, Marduk Sedras. And this guy is, lore-wise, just awesome. He has done it all. He's one of the oldest Space Marines during the Heresy, he's over 200 years old, he fought alongside the Emperor during the Unification Wars, he is what is known as an eschaton by the Dark Angels, which is a title given to members of the Dreadwing who have personally overseen the final death of an entire species or a planet. So he has absolutely been through some shit in his time. His whole character and background is just unbelievably awesome, and on top of that he has some, subject to change of course, but currently he has some pretty cool rules. In his cataphractii Terminator armor with his sword, he has got the Death of Worlds, which is quite possibly the coolest sword name in all of the Heresy setting, and gives him this incredibly cool rule which actually reduces enemy invulnerable saves while still hitting at AP2. So he's quite unique amongst characters in the Heresy. There aren't any other things I think that reduce invuns, so he can be a pretty pokey character killer, and he is all round just a fairly solid, cool unit to bring. But up until now, he hasn't had a model, and that of course is all changing with his new one which has been shown off today. And I have to say, I'm actually not all that much of a fan of it. There are some aspects I do like. I think the Death of Worlds looks incredible. I love the pure simplicity of it, the parchment wrapped around the top and those metal attachments bolted into the shaft. It is genuinely one of the coolest looking swords in the game. I mean, it doesn't look practical in any way, but as far as style goes, I think it's almost perfect. And then on top of that, he has that incredibly cool Crusader style helmet with the red hood, which always looks good on Dark Angels, I think, but especially so with the whole cataphractii Terminator armor that he has going on. But aside from that, I mean, it's just a bit meh. First of all, he is resin, not plastic, which, I mean, is kind of to be expected still at this stage, but it is, when you think about it, still a bit of a shame when we know that all of these gorgeous new plastic models are coming fairly soon for Heresy. It is a bit of a bugbear for me because I just don't like resin models, so having him still be resin even though we know so much is going to be changing to plastic fairly imminently is just a bit of a kick in the shins, I think. I also have to say I really hate his pistol version of the Plasma Incinerator. It just looks way too big and chunky and clunky to me, and I really don't see why he needs a red dot sight on it for something that is essentially a plasma flamer. Like, it's not going to be that hard to hit what you're shooting at. The area around his waist and upper legs also just looks a bit too busy for me. It's got those vials, the chains, the skulls, the Dark Angel iconography in the center. It just all is a bit too much. I wish it was a little bit plainer. Like, I like iconography on characters and HQs, but that just seems a bit too much for me. And then the worst part of this model for me is just his legs and his pose. And now, I don't think that every character needs to have that Ragnar Blackmane style over-the-top leaping pose or anything, but for me, he just looks a bit too static for my liking. He almost runs into the same problem that the 40k Belial model has, where his legs are just so straight and awkward, they make him look a little bit uncomfortable. I would have personally loved to have seen just a bit more movement in his legs. Maybe get rid of one of the rocks or make one of the rocks slightly higher on one side so that he's at least bending at the knee to make it look a bit more natural. And I mean, yes, sure, maybe looking at it from some other angles might make it not seem as bad. But just on this first initial pass of me looking at the model, I really do think that aside from the head and the sword, this model is a bit of a miss in my books. Which is a shame because, as I said, lore-wise and fluff-wise and in all his background, Sedras is just absolutely awesome. And I would have really loved to have had a genuinely menacing, ominous-looking model that really fit in with how I pictured him in my mind. So, I mean, yeah, overall, I am quite disappointed in him. I think his rules are great, and I'm really excited to see what they change going into the actual new Heresy game 2.0, if they change much at all. But he is quite a cool, fun unit and character to play on the battlefield. I just think you could probably create your own version of him that looked better from a combination of the Cataphractii kit and the Deathwing specific Terminators. But as always, what do you think of this model? Is it one that you like, or were you hoping for something a bit more inspiring or menacing or scary for Sedras? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.